hello, every single person out there. How are you all doing? It's a late night football show, people, with your boy Tade or Shaw exclusively. Whew. How is every single person doing? I hope everyone is doing quite well. I'm doing well, I'm fine. I cannot complain, I'm alive. That's the most important thing. And I'm glad that you guys are here with me as usual. Listen, people, I want to apologize because I couldn't come to you with the post-match analysis for the game between Arsenal and West Brom. I'm sorry about that, but you know, I've got a live, people. I have got a live. Big up to everybody in the chat. Big up to you, Liam Vince. Big up to you, James Dunlop. Big up to you, Asmail Manik. Big up to you, Sekaya. Big up to you, Osman Ali. I hope every single person is doing all right. Osman Ali. Wagwan. Arakunre Tade. Only the Nigerians and the Yoruba Nigerians are going to understand that. I really need to find out. I think you're Nigerian, Osman Ali. I don't believe you are not Nigerian. Man City are champions. Yes, Man City are champions, people. Congratulations to them. We're going to talk a little bit about that. Ooh. Arsenal Manic, I've got some breaking news. That they have some technical difficulties. No. I ain't having no technical difficulties. I think everything is sorted on my end. I hope. Fingers crossed. But don't worry, guys. I think I've got it this time. James Dunlop, how is the world of Everton today? How are the Evertonians doing? I hope everyone is doing all right. Mark Lewis, I see you. You start the chats by saying, I can't blame Soldier for the loss, to be honest. The schedule is just stupid. I mean, yeah, you can say all you want, but at the end of the day, they lost the game and their rivals win the title. I'm sure all the Liverpool fans were rooting for Man United today, but listen, we're going to talk more about that. All right, people, let's just talk about what we're going to expatiate on today. Come to me, all you football fans. Come to me if you are a football lover. Let's take the game back into our hands, people. Tonight, we are going to be talking about a few things. The UCL may head to Portugal as coronavirus second wave hits Turkey. I'm sure you guys have seen the news. Apparently, the original plan was for the venue to be in Turkey, but and then, you know, we thought we are going to be able to do it in England, but now it seems like it's going to be moving to Portugal. We're going to talk a bit more about that. Man City makes it 5 titles, people, as Leicester City beat Manchester. Some of the guys are already saying that in the chats, but the question now is, will Liverpool make the Champions League? Apparently, they're saying that they're one of the worst defending champions in the history of Premier League so far. But will they be able to make the Champions League? That is between them and Leicester City, I guess. Is the money in sports worth it? Because recently Barcelona has currently been ranked world's 4th most valuable sports team in spite of the COVID pandemic, people. Chelsea versus Arsenal preview. We're going to touch a little bit about that as well. And the main thing I want to talk about, people, Arsenal are potentially out of Europe for the first time in 25 years. We all know that. The question now is, are Arsenal doomed? We're going to be seeing my reaction about the interview that Arteta had some days ago. I'm going to be breaking that down to you guys. Hopefully, I'm going to be here for just an hour today. I'm trying to keep this thing short because I have work tomorrow and I've got to be I have to be up early tomorrow. We're also going to talk about the Arsenal protests, which is planned for the 23rd of May, people. We're going to be talking a little bit about that. But the usual rituals is for me to pick some comments and then we play some music and then we come back and we expatiate on today's topics. And guys, I'm going to be receiving calls 30 minutes into the show. And if you want to call, the link is right there in the description and it's also there in the live chat. So you are welcome to call in. James Dunlop, City are now tied with Villa with 7 league titles, only 2 behind us now. Interesting. I didn't even realize that. Aslamanik, excuses from Man United fans. Leicester schooled them. I mean, you can say excuses, but listen. I think what Mark Lewis said there is quite reasonable. They've got in 5 days. They've got 3 games. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't. It really doesn't. Liam Vins, how Man City won a league title? A league? Did he just say a League 2 title? Like MK Dons have, though. I'm not quite sure I understand what you mean. How Man City won a League 2 title like MK Dons? I'm not sure what you mean by that, prof. Today, Liverpool fans are angrier than Man United fans. Of course, they are. They are very pissed off because obviously we know that the Liverpool fans were rooting for Man United to beat Leicester to give them a chance to be able to come into Champions League. To be honest, everything is in the hands of Leicester. But we'll see, people. James Dunlop. Most of my mates support Liverpool, Mark, and they are properly pissed. Yes, they are pissed. Today is the day that Liverpool fans turn to Manchester United fans. Wow, quite interesting, people. Quite interesting. As usual, people, I'm going to play you guys a song before I go into the details of the day. This is the usual ritual, so if this is your first time here, that is what we always do, so don't be surprised. I'm gonna be playing Sing It Louder, people, from Particle House. I'm pretty sure a few people must have heard this before, but I'm gonna play it anyways. It's more like an old school music. It's called Sing It Louder from Particle House, people. Enjoy it, and I'll be right back, people. Alright, Liam Vins, I now understand what you mean. I mean, MK Dons have won the League 2 title in 2008 and Man City did not. Now I understand. Aslamani, your song isn't in there tonight, but thank you. Well, if you don't want to listen to it, you might as well close your ears because this is the show and the music will always play. Play the song then. You only played 20 seconds. Well, I don't know what you're saying, but obviously you've deleted your comments. Aslamani, watch it. Watch it. Play the song. Stop chatting gibberish. You are so disrespectful, Arsenal Manic. So disrespectful. Yep. Take care. Bye. right, people. Thank you very much. You know, the nerve of some people. I've been watching Arsenal Manic for a while now, and I must confess, Arsenal Manic, I have taken a lot of your nonsense. Yes, I've taken a lot of your nonsense. You come on here, I accept a lot of things you say, and you're telling me to stop talking gibberish on my show. If you don't want to hear the show, do not come back to the show. It's really that simple. You've said a lot of nonsense on this channel, and many a times I ignore it. Many a times you realize how stupid you are, and then you delete your comments. I have so many of them on record. So if you keep coming here and talking nonsense, do not come back, Arsenal Manic. It's that simple. I've taken a lot from you. And I remember very well you made a stupid comment the day that we lost Claude. I remember very well you said something on the channel. I wouldn't reveal it, but you've said something really, really stupid. And then you realized eventually how stupid you were. Stop coming here and talking nonsense on my channel. Stop it. Okay? If you don't like what I do, don't come back. I've taken a lot of nonsense from you. Do not repeat yourself again. Okay? All right, people. Let's get straight into the show, people. Let's get straight into the show. As I was saying, I just need to address that because he's been doing that a lot and he's been getting away with it. He comes on here, he says a lot of nonsense, and I usually ignore it. Do not come here and chat shit on my show or my channel. Okay? Thank you. All right, people. What's the first thing? The UEFA Champions League, people. The UEFA Champions League is the first thing we are going to be talking about, people. Yes. We all know that the final is going to be coming up very soon, and originally was supposed to be in Turkey. Okay? But now they are saying that it's potentially going to be going to Portugal. All right? It's because of reasons like this that it's quite difficult. I mean, when I say reasons like this, I'm talking about the coronavirus. It's quite difficult to plan anything. Apparently in Turkey right now, they are facing a second wave of coronavirus. And according to the report, the UEFA Champions League final might be moved to Portugal since UEFA and UK cannot come to an agreement. Well, as it stands now, the report says that UEFA were negotiating for the VIP and staff of 2,000 in number to be exempted from the quarantine rules. Well, Portugal are on the green list of England and they don't need to quarantine. So what is actually happening right now, people, is because of the second wave in Turkey, they've decided to move it away from Turkey. And what actually happened was the UK were negotiating to get it to be done here in England, in Wembley. And because of the quarantine rules, they are trying to see whether they can get exempted from it. And by doing that, it simply means that the VIP and staff of 2,000 in numbers were trying to see if they can exempt the quarantine rules. Now, in my opinion, I think that's going to be very, very hard to do because if you create another rule for a certain set of people, that simply means you're bringing in double standards. And that is not acceptable. In my opinion, I feel that they should move it to Portugal, and I think that's where they're gearing towards. And the reason is simply because if you make one rule for certain people, the VIP and the staff member, then that means you have to allow that rule for other people. You know what I mean? And in my opinion, I feel that, yes, I can understand what they're trying to do because now they're saying that, oh, can we kind of have a bubble of 2,000 people? Now, that doesn't make any sense to me if they want to be having 2,000 people in a bubble. You know, you don't know where those 2,000 people are coming from. You don't know whether some of them even have coronavirus. Perhaps they're going to get tested. Who knows? But the reality of it is, if you make one rule for certain people, it simply means that you have to allow that rule for other people. If the general population have to go through all the quarantine rules when they come into England, then I can understand why they're saying they cannot make that exemption. And Portugal seems like the best destination. And the reason that it can be the best destination is simply because they are now on the green list on England. They're on the green list. So what that simply means is a lot of English fans that support the likes of Chelsea and Man City can easily travel to Portugal without getting any quarantine in Portugal, because you don't need to quarantine when you travel from England to Portugal or from a lot of places to Portugal. You don't need to quarantine. So what that simply means is for a lot of people, that want to go to the games, it's a lot easier to go into Portugal. And many of the fans are definitely going to be England fans. So it works out well for them to go to Portugal. It works out perfectly for them. And I'm supporting that motion. Unfortunately, we're going to be losing the money in England, because if you do it in England, that simply means a lot of money is going to be coming into England, and it's going to be coming into the pocket of the people that own the infrastructure, sponsorship deals, all that stuff. They're going to be making more money from it. Unfortunately, it's going to be going to Portugal, but I think that is the best solution when it comes to this whole coronavirus pandemic. I don't know what you guys feel about that, but I feel Portugal is the best destination here. Because at the end of the day, we all know what happens. When you break the rules, or when you make certain rules for certain people, it simply means that you have to allow that rule for other people. So I am totally in support of them moving it to Portugal. And anyone that wants to travel from here to Portugal is more than welcome to do that. All right, people. The second thing, obviously, we've just talked about it, but I'm going to talk more about it. Soyuncu wins the game for Leicester City, people, against Manchester United. I said it before already that a lot of people, especially Liverpool fans, were rooting for Man United. It's so interesting that there will be a day whereby Liverpool fans are rooting for Man United. I never thought I was going to see that day. And a lot of them, according to the reports now, are angry that Manchester United did not win Leicester. What a surprise, people. What a surprise. And what this simply means now is Manchester City have won their 5th Premier League title, people. Their 5th Premier League title. We all saw this coming anyways. It was always going to happen. It was always going to happen. It was quite difficult because the only way Manchester United could win the league, right, was for Man City to lose all their games. And I don't really see that happening. Do you guys see that happening? I don't see that happening. I don't. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, right, Manchester United and Manchester City are big rivals. And I'm pretty sure it's going to hurt Manchester United a lot more. Because obviously they lost the game and allowed Manchester City to win it. I'm pretty sure all they would have wanted to do was to win all their games, and perhaps Man City win all their games as well to win the title. But at the end of the day, Solskjaer is going to be really, really pissed that he actually just gave Man City the title. Because what we would have wanted to do was to keep winning all their games and make Man City really work for it to also win their own games as well. So it is what it is. It is what it is, people. It is what it is. Right. Who? Arsenal Manic. Yes, you said something the day I was supposed to do something with Claude. The day that we lost him. You said something. And I'm not going to say it here. I'm just going to keep it quiet. But this has been a long time coming. You've been talking a lot of things that I don't necessarily like. So yes, so if you don't want to come on here again, that's totally fine. That's totally fine. I thought you were kind of reasonable, but I'm sorry. I can't take it anymore from you. You talk a lot of nonsense when you come on here. And it's very disrespectful. You don't disrespect people like that. Okay? Telling me I'm talking gibberish on my channel. Are you stupid or something? Ricardo, hi guys. Apparently Arteta won't leave for many, many years. Well, we'll wait to see that. I'm pretty sure if Arteta doesn't do anything next season, he's probably going to get sacked. That's for sure. But we'll wait till next season and see that. All right, people. This is another thing I wanted to talk about, people. Listen, I've been saying this about football and sports generally. The question now is money really spoiling sports? Is money spoiling football? Because now what they've actually come out to say is Barcelona are now the world's 4th most valuable sports team according to an annual list published by Forbes. They are now the 4th most valuable sports team. And right now, they are number 1 when it comes to football. They've overtaken Real Madrid. Real Madrid used to be number 1, but Barcelona has actually overtaken them. So what Forbes also went on to say is they said the average value of the world's 50 most valuable teams on the list were up 11% from last year's ranking. Listen, people, I gotta be very honest with you guys. I believe that sports is actually messing up football. And the truth about the matter is, I am finding it very, very, very hard to understand where this is going. Recently, Neymar also signed a new contract, which is a contract improvement to whatever it is he was earning. He was earning a lot already, and now he's improved on that. So my fear and my worry right now is this is going to be causing a lot of inflation. Because let's think about it. This is what Forbes came out to say. They said that the average value of the world's 50 most valuable teams on the list was up 11% from last year's ranking. In spite of the COVID pandemic, people, in spite of the COVID pandemic, the value still went up 11%. So the question now is, why did it go up? Did it go up because of inflation? Did it go up because the values of these players just keep increasing and increasing? Because I don't see any improvement in the economy. All I'm saying is prices going up and going up off the roof every single time. My fear right now is it's going to become so ridiculous. And this is the reason why we're buying the players like Pepe for 72 million. 72 million. That's the reason we're buying players like Pepe. Because of stuff like this. What I don't understand is how can the value of all these clubs be going up 11% in a pandemic period? It's absolutely ridiculous, people. Absolutely ridiculous. You know, so I don't seem to understand it. I don't seem to understand it. We are complaining about pandemic, and then these same guys, the likes of Barcelona, then went to join the ESL league because they were complaining of money, and their value keeps going up. So I don't get it. I don't get it, people. I don't get it. Let me see what the guys are saying about this. Money is operating history and replacing it with a new history, all in the space of a few years. Case in point, Chelsea are 6 trophies away from surpassing us, and that has occurred in 16 years. Yes, I totally agree with you. I think this is the reason why the likes of Randy Viper really, really hates the likes of Man City and PSG. He really, really hates them. And in a way, I don't blame him. Right? Because he believes that they are buying their way to trophies. He believes they're buying their way to, to be the best. Unfortunately, that's the reality. But is that a good thing, though, for the economy? If you're getting clubs increasing in value by 11% in spite of the fact that we have a COVID pandemic, then that's really ridiculous, don't you think? That's really ridiculous. You have to do the maths. The inflation right now, this year was 0.7% increment in England. And then you get the values of these clubs in a pandemic going up 11%, people. 11%. That's an interesting one. That's an interesting one, honestly. But James Dunlop, since we've had money, it's not done us any good. We've wasted nearly $1 billion. What are you talking about? Are you talking about your club, Everton, or are you talking about another club? What do you mean by that, James Dunlop? Can you expatiate on that? I would like to know what you mean by that. OG Slim, how you doing, man? This is the first time I am probably seeing you here. Correct me if I'm wrong. The clubs have all been forecasting. They know once all this corona stuff is done, people will flock to games, etc. in big numbers. I totally agree with you. They will flock to games. But it's not every team that is going to be making a lot of profit compared to the previous years. Do you know why? For instance now, Arsenal, they're saying they're not going to do any increment in the tickets. That they're going to freeze the amount that they're going to be, issuing out their tickets. They're going to freeze it. I don't know, for whatever reason, they're going to freeze it. So which simply means that season ticket holders don't have to worry about any increment in the tickets. But the question now is, if we are not going to be going to Europe, why should our ticket prices be high? Do you understand what I'm saying? Why should our ticket prices be high? If we're not going to be going to Europe, it makes absolutely no sense. 1 second, people. My battery is almost dead, people. Sorry, guys. My battery was almost dead. Yeah, I think it's better now. So if Arsenal is not going to Europe next season, why the hell should our ticket prices not reduce? You know, we're only going to be going for Premier League games and FA Cup and Carling Cup, and that's it. So we're not going to have the opportunity to be meeting the likes of Barcelona, or actually we're never going to meet Barcelona because we're never going to make Champions League anyways. You know, we're probably going to be meeting the likes of Villarreal, but now we're not even going to be meeting the likes of Villarreal anymore. You know, so let's be honest. I think money is spoiling football, if you ask me. That's what I think. I think money is spoiling football, and it needs to be controlled. It needs to be controlled because if these guys, if the values of these clubs are increasing, most of the top 50 clubs in the world, not just football now, right? Not just football, sports generally. Let me paraphrase that. Sports generally. If the value of these clubs are increasing by 11%, then it simply means that either it is overinflated, or maybe the inflation caused the values to increase, or maybe it is just an evil we cannot run away from. But it's really ridiculous. It's really ridiculous. The prices we charge are criminal, especially considering our league position and performance. I totally agree, OG Slim. I totally agree with you on that. It is ridiculous with our performances, with our league positions. I don't think Arsenal deserves to have high ticket prices. I don't think we deserve it. Liam Vince, MK Dons have reduced their season tickets today, and that is a League One club. Exactly. That is exactly what I'm talking about. If your club who is in League One reduces the ticket, I see no reason why Arsenal shouldn't. The only problem I see with Arsenal reducing the ticket is because they know so many Arsenal fans. For instance, I've been on the season ticket queue for a very, very long time, right? I've been on the queue for a very, very long time. And I think the last time I checked, right, I was like 70K or something. And I think because they know a lot of people are always going to want to come to Arsenal games. Or because many people, you know, travel into the country. And when they travel into the country, these guys can actually sell 20,000 tickets just for people that are coming in to England just for a holiday. And they know people are always going to buy those tickets, even at an inflated price. Sometimes I get some tickets on Arsenal website for 80 or 90 pounds. If it's a big game, say the Arsenal versus Tottenham, or say the Arsenal versus Man United, you know, the big games, right? I get to pay very, very high amount of money on Arsenal website. Talk less of, you know, when you have to go out there on the black market, because some people actually buy it on black market. They buy it for like 150, some people even 200 pounds, and they're willing to pay for it. You know, they're willing to pay for it. Liam Vim says, I blame the TV companies. Why do you blame the TV companies? How do you blame the TV companies? I'm trying to understand. Expatiate on that. How do you blame the TV companies? You know? James Dunlop, in terms of transfers at Everton, since we've had... Okay, now I understand what you're saying. So you are saying you guys have spent billions in terms of transfers in Everton. Unfortunately, the only way we can keep up with the big boys is for us to be able to spend. That is what I don't like. It's ridiculous now. It's absolutely ridiculous. And so many players are being bought for values that are absolutely ridiculous as well. You know? These guys are not up to that value for money. But you still have to get them at that price. That's the kind of world we live in now. You know? OG Slim, I agree, Tade. It's a massive cash grab. Just look at the merchandise. I totally agree, man. I totally agree. I already told people, and I'm gonna say it again. I haven't bought the Arsenal jersey since 2018, I think. I think 2018 was the last time I bought an Arsenal jersey. That was the last time. Yes, people. Chelsea versus Arsenal tomorrow. What do you guys think about that game? But before we go into the details of that game, people, I'm going to play you guys another song quickly. And I have to get something in the oven because I'm doing something in the oven, people. This is Find Myself, people. Enjoy this by Klanka, and I'll be right back.
Sometimes it really feels like I lose control. Honestly, I can't even find my home.
have something cooking in the oven, people. I'm just going to check that right away, and I'll be right back with you guys. By the way, guys, I'm going to be receiving calls. If you want to talk to me, I'm going to be receiving calls in the next 20 minutes. And if you want to talk to me, the link is right there in the description. It's also pinned on the chats. You can see the Discord link on there. Click on it, and then we can talk. All right? I'll see you in the waiting room, and I'm going to get you in once I finish the topics for the day. All right?
You are only bringing out the worst in me. Now I really don't know what the best in me is. 'Cause when you see light, I tend to fade. With city lights and you're in space, and I don't think I'm ever gonna get it right. I'm drowning underwater, and you're just making it harder. Need to let you go to find myself. 'Cause I keep on falling, and you're the one watching. Need to let you go to find myself. I'm drowning underwater. Need to let you go to find myself. 'Cause I keep on falling. Need to let you go to find myself. I'm drowning underwater, and you're just making it harder. Need to let you go to find myself. 'Cause I keep on falling, and you're the one watching. Need to let you go to find myself.
Yes, people, what are you guys saying? James Dunlop, Chelsea look too strong at the moment, even though is there no pressure now for Arsenal? I wouldn't be shocked if they perform tomorrow. Listen, I totally agree with you. They are definitely strong at the moment, and they are definitely better than Arsenal Football Club. But listen, as an Arsenal fan, all you're going to be hoping for is for these players to actually put in a shift. I don't know what you guys think about that game. I don't know who you think is going to win. But listen, Chelsea needs to cement their place in Champions League. They're not in much danger when you compare them to Leicester, but they can't afford to lose games as well. And Tuchel has done a lot of wonders right now. Let's not forget, these guys have got wonderful players with wonderful mentality and all that in their squads. But as an Arsenal fan, you're going to be expecting that this, there should be a little bit of pride. I was watching the news conference from Arteta today, and he was saying the players have to play for the pride. And really, they have to play for the pride. They really do. So my expectation is that the Arsenal team is going to be going out there to at least play for pride. We know we're not going to win anything. We're not going to get to the Europe this season, except Liverpool, Chelsea, Liverpool, Everton, and West Ham lose a lot of games. That's the only way or only chance for us to get into Europe. But I don't think that's happening. Liam Vince, he said, I blame the fact that the ticket prices went up as Sky and BT have ruined an affordable sport. Okay, now I understand what you mean by that. That makes a lot of sense. James Dunlop, Chelsea look too strong at the moment. Even though there is no pressure now for Arsenal, I wouldn't be shocked. Okay, I've already read this one. Toyosi Ajayi, let's be honest, we need a whole bunch of players, maybe 6 or 7. We have just about 5 players that can actually hold their own. But the biggest problem isn't getting players in. It's making space for them. Do you know what? Hold that thought, yeah? Hold that thought. I'm going to be talking about that immediately after this. I'm going to be talking about that. That's the next thing I'm going to talk about. So let's just hold that thought. Ricardo, what happened with Manik? I'm not going to go into details of that. James Dunlop. All right, you guys are talking about that. Liam Vince. Can you see Tuchel resting some ahead of the cup final? I mean, to be honest with you, I think it makes a lot of sense for him to be able to rest because the truth about the matter is Man City had to rest a lot of players against Chelsea, and that's because he's looking forward to preserving a lot of the players for the final. And for me, I think Chelsea has a higher chance of winning the FA Cup final compared to the Champions League. I don't know what you guys think, but I think they have a better chance of winning that, simply because I just have this strong feeling that Manchester City is going to win the Champions League. I just have this strong feeling. From the display that I saw against PSG, it's almost like that's the only thing that is missing right now in Pep Guardiola's closet when it comes to Man City. He wants to win the Champions League. And I think that is what he's going to be going for. I mean, yes, they lost the game against Chelsea over the weekend, but let's be very honest, people. They didn't really put all their energy into that. You know, he rested a lot of big players and all that. My gut feeling tells me Man City are going to win the Champions League. And perhaps Chelsea might just be able to edge it for the FA Cup, you know. That's what I feel. I don't know what you guys think. But listen, tomorrow's game with Arsenal, apparently the first leg, we beat them 3-1. That was when the likes of Saka and Emil Smith-Rowe sort of, Emil Smith-Rowe kind of burst on the scene. I remember very well. That was the game that he announced himself, and since then he started playing a lot of games, you know. But listen, I don't. That game doesn't really have any worth. I don't really care much about that game, in all honesty. I just want us to play for pride, and that's about it. Ricardo, I want to see Balogun and Aziz, but I think that won't happen. It's going to be hard to see those guys, in my opinion. It's going to be very hard to see those guys. Because there's still a lot of guys in the team that haven't even had a lot of game time, you see. I'm going to be looking at someone like Balogun, for instance. Right now, Nketiah has not been seeing game time. Nketiah this season has only started 4 games this season, people. You know, I know Balogun. I mean, I know Aziz doesn't play the same position as, you know, these guys. But Nketiah hasn't even had much game time. You know, I'm not saying that Nketiah is better than Balogun. Don't get me wrong. What I'm just saying is, even Nketiah, that is kind of ahead of him in the pecking order right now, is not seeing game time. And I think recently, Bemiga was saying something about the reason why Balogun's contract was renewed was because Lacazette is leaving. I don't know about that, because we could have signed Balogun's new contract to also send him on loan. You know, it's possible. It's very possible. You might want to sign these players so that you can keep them, because you know they have the potential, right? And when they go out on loan to get experience, they're going to come back. Like Emil Smith-Rowe did. He's going out to get experience. He's come back. Reece Nelson went out to get experience, but unfortunately he can't make the team. I think someone like Reece Nelson, for me, I think he's going to be leaving. Nketiah as well, I think he's going to be leaving. But I don't know. But I agree with you, Ricardo. I want to see Balogun. I'm not sure about Aziz, to be honest. That position is too difficult. It's too difficult because we have El Neni there, we have Xhaka there, we have Partey there. Yes, Ceballos is leaving, but it's going to be difficult for Aziz to be able to make that make the team, because that position right now is a bit crowded. Except we get rid of the likes of El Neni, maybe then we'll have a chance. You know what I mean? Toyosi Ajayi, what's up? All our games are basically dead rubber games. Yeah, they don't mean anything to me anymore. They don't. They really don't mean anything to me anymore. I'm just going to be watching the games, and, you know, to be honest with you guys, the last game, Arsenal-West Brom, I was actually sleeping in that game. I was very busy the whole weekend, and I was so tired. And when that game was on, the game was actually on my phone. I was watching it on my phone, and I slept off. That's how unbothered I am right now with Arsenal games, you know. That's really how unbothered I am with Arsenal games. Like, they've sucked the blood out of me, and I just can't be bothered about them. I just can't. Tosaja, do you really think that we put our club in the hands of youngsters? I think we need more established players. Definitely we need more established players. And listen, we're going to talk about that now, yeah? We're going to talk about that now. This is the main thing I wanted to talk about today, people. The main thing I wanted to talk about today was I wanted to react to the interview that Arteta had a few days ago. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but there were some questions they asked him about the squad. There were some questions they asked him about the direction of Arsenal Football Club. And that's what I'm going to cover. I just want to react to there's some key points that he made in that interview, and I just want to address them and tell you what I feel about them. And I want to also hear your opinions about that as well. It's going to be very helpful for me to see what you guys feel about that, because I love constructive conversations. I'm sure you know me by now, and that's why I like to include every single person in the chat, because I want you to tell me what you feel as well. If you disagree with me, that's totally fine, but I also want to hear what you have to say. James Dunlop, big question is, why didn't Arteta play Saka at left back last Thursday? It would have made sense in my opinion. Listen, I don't want to sound like I'm defending this guy, right? But the truth about the matter is, a lot of people didn't complain until we actually saw the result. A lot of people did not complain that why is Saka not playing in the left back. This season, guys, let's be very honest. This season, majority of the time, Saka played attacking. And most of his best games came from the attacking position. That's the honest truth. Granted, we know he can play left back. He's done it before. There's absolutely no doubt, right? But the question now is, would you sacrifice that extra attacking, leg and put him in the defense? Yes, don't get me wrong. He worked against West Brom. But West Brom is also a poor team. Let's not forget that. They're a very poor team. You can't compare them to Villarreal, So we can say all what we want right now, because obviously we didn't qualify for the final of the Europa League and all that. I totally get that. In hindsight, it's very important that you analyze things like that. But at the same time, before the game, how many people were complaining? For me, the problem I had with that formation against Villarreal was why Arteta did not start Cedric. I would have preferred Cedric in that position and still kept Saka up front. Because let's not forget, the same Saka we're talking about gave a wonder goal in the previous the quarterfinal round. Let's not forget that. The same Saka, that wonder goal. Let's not forget that in attacking position. So for me, I think the problem I had with that formation against Villarreal was I would have preferred to have Cedric at the left back instead and still keep Saka up front. That's what I would do if it's me. Arteta can only beat managers that are more stupid than him. Wow. I don't know about that, Ricardo. I don't know about that, because Arteta actually beat Jurgen Klopp. So do you think Jurgen Klopp is much more stupid than he was? He beat him twice. Let's not forget that. He also beat Pep Guardiola as well. Have you forgotten already? So except you're saying those managers are actually much more stupid, and I don't know, man. I don't know. Listen, guys, let me just talk about a few things I want to talk about. I'm going to be out of here. Like I said, if you want to talk to me, the link is right there. It's open. If you want to come in and talk, please give me a dial in. But there are a few things in that Arteta interview that I want to point out, right? About the players, one of the things that Arteta said about Arsenal players, and I'm going to say exactly what he said. He said the players lacked clarity and capacity to execute with the ball. Right. The players lacked clarity and capacity to execute with the ball. Now, what does that mean, people? What does that mean? They lack clarity and capacity to execute with the ball. In layman terms, people, for those of you that don't understand, in layman terms, they lack the capacity simply means they lack the quality, people. That is how I read it. I don't know what you guys think, but if he tells you that his players lacked the capacity to execute on the ball, then that simply means they lack the quality to execute on the ball. That's what I think. And because Arteta doesn't want to come out and criticize these players outrightly, he's using kind of nicer words to express himself about his players. You see what I mean? I think he's using nicer words. In my opinion, what he actually meant as saying that they lacked clarity and capacity to execute with the ball, he simply means they lacked the quality. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. And then they went on to ask him a question about whether or not the owners of the club are going to make some monies available. What he then went on to say is, he said, there is sizable budget to make changes. Now, we've had this all the time from managers in Arsenal, right? There is money, but at the end of the day, it's either we spend it on the wrong players, yeah, or we just don't have the money at all. It's as simple as that. When we have the money, the little money we have, our recruitment is crap. And in most cases, we don't even have the money. Let's not forget that this was the first time that Kroenke had to dip his hand in his pocket to get Thomas Partey for 45 million. Some say it's 50, some say it's 45. I don't know which is it. But the reality of it is, they are coming back to tell us now that there is a sizable budget to make changes. But you, as an Arsenal fan, will you believe these owners when they come out and tell you this? Do you think that the conversation that Arsenal supporters trust had with Josh Kroenke, do you think it must have struck a nerve? Do you think that must have changed their mind? Do you think that's going to change things around in the way that they run things? Because this is the first time that the fans are meeting with Josh Kroenke and they're telling him to his face that we don't trust you. If someone comes to your face and tells you he doesn't trust you, giving you a stern look like this and saying, I don't trust you. You are not a footballing person to your face. Don't you think that's going to strike a nerve? What do you guys think? Do you think that's going to change the way the owners of the clubs is running things? Do you think that's going to change the way that they think? Do you think that's going to make them angry and decide to invest in the club? The question is, do you guys believe the Kroenkes? Do you guys believe them? Toyosi Ajayi, I actually agree with him. We have few players that can hold their own. Yep. This was what you said before. We have, and I've been saying it for a very long time. We have few players that can hold their own. That you've put it in the perfect sentence. A lot of these players are not at the level that we are expecting them to perform. And I keep telling people this, but they keep comparing these people with Man City. They keep comparing these players with Chelsea. They say, why is Chelsea doing better? Why is Man City doing better? Even Man United players, many of them are better than our players. Pogba is going to walk into this team. Fernandes is going to walk into this team. Even Marcus Rashford right now is going to walk into this team. Yes, I said it. So, at the end of the day, we have to look at the quality in the team. And I've been saying it. And right now, I sound like a broken record because I keep repeating myself every single time. And I'm really tired of it. I'm like a looped video that keeps repeating itself. You know what I mean? And then he went on to say, the squad needs changes and owners will back it up. He's saying that the squad needs changes. Arteta has come out to say he needs to make changes to the squad. A manager is not going to be making changes to the squad if he thinks his players are good enough. He knows his players are not good enough, but he's never going to come out and say it. And this is what I've been telling people. You can read in between the lines. I'm going to repeat myself again. The first thing he said was the players lack the clarity and capacity to execute on the ball. What that simply means is the players lack the quality to execute on the ball. And then he's saying that the squad needs changes and the owners will back it up. Now, I agree that the squad needs changes. The question is, will the owners back it up? He's saying the owners are going to back it up. Will they back it up with the required amount of money? Earlier in the show, we already talked about how money is spoiling football. Don't get me wrong, right? We still need to spend money up to the level that has been spent in football right now, because that's the only way we can compete. But if you ask me, is that the right way to go, as you know, in the footballing world generally, with the amount of money we're spending? I will say no. Unfortunately, that is the world we live in. The foundation of spending so much money started with the likes of Real Madrid and the likes of Chelsea. I keep saying it. The Abramovich, the Galactico eras. That is where this whole stupid spending of money came from. And I have a big problem with that. But right now, our hands are tied. You know, when you're in Rome, you have to behave like the Romans. Right? If you can't beat them, you join them. You know? It's that simple. So, at the end of the day, we just have to spend. We just have to spend. Toya Sajayi, I think the players we have now, we are where we should be on the table. Even the big name players we have are aging. Toya, I agree with you again. I totally agree with you again. We are expecting 5-star performances from 2-star players. We're expecting 5-star hotel services from a 2-star motel. It's never going to happen, people. It is never going to happen. It is never going to happen. Liam Vince, 2-1 Southampton. Thanks for the updates. I never believed Southampton will be where they are, considering where they started this season. You know, they were competing with us up at the table, and now they're just, you know, above the relegation zone. Although they're not going to get relegated. But, you know, this is football. It's a marathon. This is football, people. Ricardo E, I don't know what's the point of telling you my opinion of the manager if you will never take it in consideration and possibly change your mind. Ricardo E, I don't know what you mean by that, but I totally understand what you have said about Arteta. I totally understand. And it's almost like you never understand me. What I keep telling you and every other person is we are focusing on the wrong problem in Arsenal. That's what I'm saying. We are focusing on the wrong problem. I'll give you an example. When Pep Guardiola came to Manchester City, he met a title-winning side. He met a side that won the title 2 seasons before him, right? Under Pellegrini, right? And when he came to that club, guess what? He changed the whole squad. He did a squad overhaul because that first season, I think he ended 3rd or 4th, right? And he realized these players are not good enough. But then he had the backing of the owners of the football club. He had the backing, the spent amount of money required in this era of football. And then he overhauled the whole team. There were only few players that remain in that team, like Sergio Aguero, Silva, Kompany. Which other player remained in that squad? I'm trying to remember now. Those are the only players. Even the goalkeeper, he changed the goalkeeper as well. I'm trying to think. Apart from these 3 players, Sergio Aguero, Silva, and Kompany, which other player did he retain? Jesus. He retained Jesus. Yes, he retained Jesus. Or Jesus. He retained the Spanish player. That was another player that he retained. But the rest of them, and please guys correct me if I'm wrong, but he retained only very few players. Less than 10% of the squad. The remaining 90%, he got rid of them. And this was a side that actually won the title 2 years before then. But Pep Guardiola still felt they were not good enough. That tells you his requirement level. That tells you what he expects. But when you look at Arsenal Football Club, right, we kept the likes of Bellerin, the likes of El Neni, Xhaka. These are the kind of players we have. And then we're elevating the likes of Nketiah into the team. Reece Nelson. Think about this for 1 minute. For 1 minute, think about this. And I keep telling people, right, that Arsene Wenger was one of the best managers we ever had because people didn't really understand how he was managing mediocrity. This man was managing mediocrity for years and we didn't realize it until he left. Until he left, that's when we realized that this man has had How can you have a team with the likes of Shamak, with the likes of Sanogo, getting the likes of Kim Karlstrom, getting the likes of Skolaci? So many players back in the days. These are the players that we had in our squad. We went from Henry to Olivier Giroud, people. And this man managed to keep us in top 4. You need to understand this, people. Look, the main problem is the hierarchy. Once the hierarchy does what is necessary, then we can talk about managers. We will keep getting managers and we will keep changing managers and the problem is going to persist. This is what I keep telling you guys. You need to understand you are backing up the wrong tree here. Look at the main problem. And I'm going to do another video. I'm going to do a video, yeah, specifically to analyze the problems in Arsenal for you guys. Don't get me wrong. Managers have a blame in anything. They have their own quota. But what I'm trying to tell you is this problem has been existing for a long time. I keep saying it, and I'm going to dig out many of my interviews. The interviews I had under Arsene Wenger, the interviews I had under Emery, yeah, I'm going to dig them out for the last 3-4 years. I'm going to dig out those interviews, and you will see what I've been saying, and you will see that exactly what I said was going to happen is happening now. I'm going to look for those interviews, and I'm going to bring it out for you guys to see. Then you understand where I'm coming from. Okay? So you see, I believe the owners will back it up this time around. Listen, we don't know if the owners are going to back it up. We're only hoping that the owners are going to back it up, right? And the only reason we can hope is if the conversation they had with Arsenal supporters' trusts got into their head, into their skull. If it gets into their skull, then maybe they will change their ways a little bit. Maybe that's going to hit them. And maybe they will decide to change the approach to how they manage things. We are only going to hope right now. That's all. We're only going to hope. Because there is nothing we can do. They own the football club and they can do whatever it is that they please. We can't change their minds. We can't. Anything they do, we are at their mercy. It's that simple. We are at their mercy. So, at the end of the day, people, it is what it is. It is what it is. Ricardo E. If everything will depend on the quality of players, then Leeds will lose every single game this season. You see, this is the thing. I don't agree with you on that. Because I think one of the Leeds players made it into the England squad. I think this is the misconstruction a lot of people have, right? People think because a player plays for Arsenal, it automatically means he's a good player. No. The fact that players are playing for Arsenal doesn't mean they're automatically good. The time that you put on a shirt of Arsenal doesn't make you automatically a good player. It doesn't improve your brain power. It doesn't improve your skills. It doesn't necessarily improve your awareness on the football pitch. It doesn't improve your true ball passing ability. It doesn't improve your goal scoring ability. It doesn't. You need to understand. This is we have to remove that lens of looking at Arsenal players as players of the invisible era. This is the mistake we are making. For Henry to come out and diss Xhaka, that tells you a lot about what Henry sees in terms of Xhaka's ability. If Henry can come out and diss Xhaka, we've all heard of what Evra said he cannot watch Xhaka. That Henry said he cannot watch Xhaka being the captain of his club. You need to understand this. So don't think because players play for Arsenal, it automatically means that they're good enough. No. Some of these players are privileged due to our poor recruiting. They are privileged to be coming to play for Arsenal Football Club. There are a lot of players. If you look at Dallas, for instance, I will have Dallas in the Arsenal ahead of El Neni. Do you understand what I'm saying? Even this Odegaard of a guy now. Odegaard is finding it difficult to make it in the Real Madrid team. Yes, granted, they have Modric, they have Cruz. They are finding it difficult. Odegaard is finding it difficult to make it into Real Madrid. So the question I'm going to ask you is, why is it that we keep taking remnants from the best teams in the world? Why do we keep taking remnants? If we go back to Sanchez was not seeing enough game time in Barcelona that season that we got him. Ozil was not guaranteed a first team under Ancelotti. Yes, he was not guaranteed a first team and he was being benched. He wasn't playing all the games anymore and he wasn't guaranteed a first team. Why? Because of Bale. And obviously they needed to raise money. But they looked around and said, who are we going to get rid of? They thought about Ozil. So the question is, why is it that Arsenal is like a dumping ground for big teams? Look at Chelsea. Chelsea have dumped two of their players on us. Two of the players that they don't want. They are dumping it on us. So let's think for 1 minute. Why is it that Arsenal cannot go to the biggest teams in the world and demand to get their best players into the squad? Has anyone ever thought about that? Has anyone ever sat down to think carefully about that? Why is it that Arsenal cannot demand the best of the best players? Why is it that we demand the remnants, the used up players every single time? Think about that for 1 minute. And yet you guys are expecting the remnants from this team to perform like the people that displace them in other teams. Does that make any sense, people? No, think about it. So, you saying if everything depends on, and this is what I don't understand. It's almost like you just want to misconstrue everything I say anytime I say it. And I don't necessarily like the fact that you misunderstand me. You come on this channel so many times, Ricardo. You listen to everything I say, but you disregard the other things. I never for once said everything depends on players. Never. I never for once. What I said is that the tools are not good enough. I've used a lot of analogies, right? Can you make fire out of wet firewood, people? Can you make fire out of wet firewood? It is not possible. It is not possible. You have a wet firewood and you want to make fire. It's not possible. There are certain players that are not supposed to be in a club like Arsenal. I'm sorry, with all due respect to them. There are many of them. The question now is, how many players in the Arsenal team? Yeah? How many players in this Arsenal team will make the Bayern Munich first team? That's the question I'm going to ask everybody. How many players in Arsenal will make the first team of Bayern Munich? That is how I rate how good a player is. I'm using the best teams in the world to rate. Toyosi Ajayi, I think Arsenal will have that same type of revolution soon, even if the kroenkes don't sell. I like the fact that you are hoping. I like the fact that you are hoping. Yeah? All we can do is hope. All we can do is hope. And I'm hoping as well that the kroenkes change their mind, because no matter what, there's going to be a protest on the 23rd. I'm going to talk about that in a bit. There's going to be a protest on the 23rd, right? And I don't know if that's going to change their mind. Maybe that's going to change their mind. Maybe that's going to make them change the way they operate. Maybe that's going to put some pressure on them. Who knows? Like I said before, perhaps the conversation that they had with kroenke had with AST Trust might probably change his mind. You never know. You never know. Toyosi Ajayi, I believe the fault is 50-50 between Arteta and the hierarchy. It is possible it is 50-50. I am not saying it's not 50-50. I'm not saying it is. All I'm saying is we Arsenal fans need to look at the root problem. We are looking at the superficial problem here. There's been a trend, and guess what? I'm gonna read on. I'm gonna read on what this guy said, right? I'm gonna read on what this guy said quickly. What Arteta then went on to say, he said, the level we have shown sometimes is not good enough, but the intention is there. We know what's been going on inside. Meaning he knows what's been going on inside the football club. At the end of the day, he knows, according to him, he knows the problem within the team, within the club. And we as fans, we can only see things happening outside, right? But I'm not going to even go into that. He went on to say something about Europe. He said, being out of Europe is not a casualty, it's a trend. Guys, I like that. Being out of Europe, Arsenal being out of Europe is not a casualty, it's a trend. Guys, it's been a trend from day one. And that's why I said I'm going to find those videos and I'm going to play for you guys. This thing has been a trend. The downfall, the doom of Arsenal has been a trend since the latter years of Arsene Wenger. And Arsene Wenger had been shouldering all the issues, and many of us did not know. We've been going down for a long time, but many of you just realized how bad it is now. I knew how bad this thing was from day one. I knew. And that's why I've been saying this, that until we get caught, I've been saying it for years, until we get the world best players in our squad, we will keep going down. I've been saying this thing. And guess what? I'm going to look, I've said this is the third time I'm saying it. I'm going to say this again. I'm going to find those videos and I'm going to show you guys what I've been saying for years, and then you understand me better. You will. It is a trend. It's been a trend. The downfall of Arsenal didn't start today. Many of you just realized it. First, we went against Arsene Wenger. Then we went against Emery. Ljungberg didn't last more than 8 games. Now we are on Arteta. It's a trend, people. Open your eyes. It's a trend. You can't just have 4 bad coaches like that. It's a trend. A big trend. Sentiment. It's the board of executive and directors board that are the problem, with the biggest problem kroenke and Arteta. I believe the biggest problem is kroenke. In my opinion, I believe that's the biggest problem. Yes, because this is the same thing you guys said about Arsene Wenger. It's the same thing you guys said about Emery. I don't know when you guys are going to be tired I don't know when you guys are going to be tired of putting these blames on coaches of this football club. This football club doesn't have an ambition. This football club doesn't have an ambition. And any big coach that wants to come to this club is going to demand a big amount of money. A big amount of money. That's what he's going to demand. A big amount of money. And if the owners of the club are not willing to do that, then we are doomed, people. We are doomed. I keep saying it. OG Slim, 120 million government loan repayment and the COVID grants, plus the ESL fine. Believe me, there is no money this summer. Plus, who is buying who? Who is buying what we're selling? I like that. Who is buying what we're selling? Listen, that's a very good one. Who is buying what we're selling? I think many of these players, in my opinion, many of them will not be able to go to big teams. Yes, we've heard of Bellerin, maybe going to PSG or Bellerin going to Juventus. I don't know how true those rumors are, but if it is true, let's take a look at Ramsey, for instance, Aaron Ramsey. Since Aaron Ramsey went to Juventus, he realized he wasn't as good as we all thought he was. But guess what, people? We Arsenal fans adored Aaron Ramsey so much simply because that is the level of quality that we are used to. I got a lot of stick back in the days when I had a go at Aaron Ramsey, and I looked at him and like, he's a good player, don't get me wrong. But was Aaron Ramsey going to be that person that was going to take us to the next level? That's the question. Look at him in Juventus today. Look at every single player under Arsene Wenger, apart from a few, that left Arsenal and went to bigger clubs. Song, Kleb, Aaron Ramsey. Look at all these players and see what happened to them. A lot of us always think these players are that good. When they get to a bigger club, you then realize that, wow, there are better players than me in this club compared to Arsenal. And the expectation is higher. These players do not make it in the bigger clubs. That tells you the quality of players we have in Arsenal. I've missed some of the chats, people. Sorry about that. OG Slim, it shows a lack of vision. Easy purchases. Yes, it shows a lack of vision. I totally agree. The club doesn't have vision. We lack the vision. And this is what I've been trying to tell people. We lack the vision. If you are going for scrap players from other teams, this Odegaard, look, I'm going to say it and I'm going to say it right here. Odegaard has not shown me enough for me to buy him. If I'm the owner of the football club, Odegaard has not shown enough for me to buy him. I'm sorry, I'm saying it right now. But I want him to prove me, if the club decides to go for him, right? All I can do is support and hope he proves me wrong. But he hasn't. I don't know if anyone here feels Odegaard has really shown them enough to be number one on the team sheet. Because he hasn't. This guy hides in games. He's almost becoming like a new Ozil in a way. Whereby when the going gets tough, he hides. For me, Odegaard performs better when we have possession. That is when he performs better. But the question is he gritty enough to perform when we are not with the ball? This is a player that can make it in Real Madrid. And there are other younger players there that are making it right now in Real Madrid. With the likes of Asensio, we have the likes of Vinicius Jr. Yes, he cannot displace Modric and Cruz. But the question is that the player we need to rebuild? I don't know, people. I don't know what you guys think. I don't know. Sentiment. And Tade, I believe you're wrong on Leeds, because if we swap coaches, both teams have different results. Arteta struggles with quality we have, and God forbid he will get some of Leeds' quality players. Listen. All I'm trying to say is many of us think because a lot of players play for Arsenal. Do you think El Neni will make the first team of Leeds? I want you guys to be very honest. Do you think El Neni will make the first team of Leeds United? Do you guys think so? I don't know about that. Sentiment. Tade it's quite elementary. The ownership change hands, the mentality culture change the owner, and that's the only trend. Shout out to Chris Otte. That's exactly what I've been trying to say. The culture in a club, right, is a factor of how it is run from the hierarchy. Let me give you guys an example, right? Imagine in your workplace, right? You go into your workplace, maybe you're just new in an environment, right? And there are certain ways that they do things in the club. Like there are certain ways that they do things. Like you just come in and you're gonna join in and partake of that way of doing things, that culture. You'll be like, say for instance now, maybe there are some documents that are supposed to be reviewed as an example. They're supposed to be reviewed, every day. But because of, say for instance, the lack of care within the club, people don't normally review things twice. They're just like, you know what? Yeah, just issue the document. That's fine. That's fine. We've been doing it for 10 years. It's fine. That is the culture because that's how they do things. The trend, how things are done in the football club. If I'm a new person and I join in and someone that is experienced in the club tells me, don't worry. That's how we do it. That's fine. You just get imbibed into that culture. You join that culture. The cultural change it's become so stale right now in Arsenal Football Club. It's become stale like a dead chocolate drink. It's stale like an expired chocolate drink. We need a change. We need a change of direction. And for me, I think it takes time. This is one other thing I want you guys to understand. It takes time. It's not going to happen just like that. It takes time. And I know we're all impatient right now. I am not that patient anymore, but I'm trying to be. It takes time, especially when you have these owners in the club. You need to just sit down there at their mercy and take whatever comes to you right now, except we keep protesting. That's the only way, because we cannot force these guys out. You can't force them out of their business. You can only protest. So that's just the thing. Okay, let me just pick a few comments before I talk about these two guys on here, because I would like to talk about these two guys because Arteta talked about them in his press conference. Sentiment. Tade, I know I am right about this. The problem is the board and kroenke. Both lack ambition. Both lack knowledge of football. Both are businessmen. Both lack the winning mentality. That's exactly what everyone has been saying, and I think everyone on this chat is going to agree with you. Big up to you, Tony Blackwell. Big up to you, man. Thanks for coming, as usual. Fine gentleman you are. Yeah, I totally agree with you, Sentiment FC. They lack the foresight. They lack the vision. These people are not footballing people. And it's exactly what Wilshere was trying to say, that the club is not surrounded by footballing people. Maybe he doesn't want to have a go at his former owners, but he's totally right. He's totally right. If you lack the football knowledge, if you lack the vision, if you're just a businessman, how many times do they show for games? They don't show for games often. Look at Abramovich. Abramovich is in almost all the games. That's someone that really loves football. That's someone that really loves football. So all I'm trying to say is, we Arsenal fans, we should focus on the root problem first. Don't be focusing on the superficial surface problem that is gonna maybe just solve a little tiny bit of the problem, right? A little tiny bit of the problem. The question I'm gonna ask you guys is, are you guys satisfied with top 4 finishes? Are you satisfied with top 4 finishes? Are you satisfied with top 6 finishes? No, I'm not just satisfied. What will satisfy me is winning the league first. Winning the league, that's what's going to satisfy me. So what you guys are saying is, if we get another manager, granted, that manager might do better than Arteta. Don't get me wrong, he might do better than Arteta. But I can bet my money on it, he's not going to win the league. So the question is, what is your priority? Is your priority to just be in the top 4, or your priority is to win the league? And guess what? If a new manager comes in and gets us to top 4, the Chronicles are going to think the problem is this small. Meanwhile, the problem is this big. Let's look at the root cause of the problem. So my school of thought, I'm of the school of thought that thinks the root cause of the problem needs to be tackled, not the superficial problem. The superficial problem for me are the coaches right now. That is a superficial problem for me. Someone said Ramsey is crap. James Dunlop, isn't Ramsey on 400k a week? Yes. His agent rather, should be given the agent of the decade, because I don't know how he pulled off that deal, but that's one of the best deals ever that we'll ever see for Ramsey. You know, I said it years ago that agent should be given an award. Liam Vince, Tomori is actually levels above any other England defender, bar Stones, in my opinion. This is the thing, right? Everyone has an opinion, and but this is the same guy that couldn't make it in Chelsea. You see? Some players thrive in some other leagues, they thrive under some other coaches, but he couldn't make it in Chelsea. That's why they sold him. I don't even know. Did they sell him or they loaned him? I don't even know. OG Slim, remember the kroenkes own the club. They don't run it, and they never will. The board are the absolute biggest problem here. I agree that KSC should sell. But look at the one constant. Yeah, the constant is the board and the owners. That's the constant. That is the constant. Liam Vince, Bielsa is a good manager, to be fair. Yes, he's a very good manager. I mean, look, if you give me Bielsa, for instance, and you give me Arteta, of course I'm going to take Bielsa. Every day, all day long, I'm going to take Bielsa. I want people to understand me here. I'm going to take Bielsa all day long. I'm going to take Bielsa. He's someone that's taken Argentina to the Olympics. He's done wonders in football with small teams. He got Leeds back into the Premier League. So if you give me Arteta and you give me Bielsa, definitely I'm gonna take Bielsa. But that's not my point of attack. The point of attack is what is the root cause of the problem in Arsenal. Tony Blackwell, Odegaard shines for 5/10 minutes in the game, but doesn't offer anything to say Arsenal buy him. That is another thing I was saying earlier. I totally agree with you on that. He doesn't offer much. I'm sorry. Look, he has the quality. Don't get me wrong. He has the quality to maybe pull off some passes sometimes. Yes, he scored 2 wonderful goals, one against Tottenham and one in the Europa League. That's good, but I don't right now, if I'm being very honest, he hasn't proven to me that that's the quality we need in Arsenal. The quality we need in Arsenal are the likes of De Bruyne. The quality we need in Arsenal are the likes of Salah. The quality we need in Arsenal right now are the likes of Fernandinho, a younger Fernandinho. Imagine Fernandinho at 36 still doing bits. Fernandinho will bench any of our defensive midfielders right now, and he's 36. He's 36, people. 36. I repeat, 36. And this guy will make our team straight up. Straight up. That tells you a lot. Tony Blackwell, Tade, your recruitment of players is the main problem. You are not attracting new young talents or players nearing the end of their career. With that in mind, you are not going to improve as a team. Yes. I totally agree with you, and that's what I've been saying. Like I said, I'm sounding like a broken record because I'm repeating myself right now. Ricardo E, the manager is not superficial. He is. I mean, what I mean is what I'm trying to say is the problems that the manager brings is a superficial problem compared to the root core problem. That's what I mean, right? The problems, don't get me wrong, Arteta has his problems and all that. Yes, I've come here, I've openly, criticized him for certain things that he's done. Even Arsene Wenger that I adore, and I still respect Arsene Wenger, I've criticized some of the things he's done. It doesn't mean that because I criticize him, it means I'm gonna write him off. Do you understand what I'm saying? But the root core problem, what is the root core problem in this football club, people? What is the root core problem? The root core problems are not the managers. I'm sounding like a pastor preaching. I'm preaching the word right now to you people. I'm preaching the word to you people. That is not the main problem, people. James Dunlop, I've just watched Claude's tribute video on his channel. I'm shedding a few tears, and I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, I miss him. I miss him dearly, Claude. I really do. Funny enough, almost every week I think about him. Yeah, at least more than once in a week, he comes up in my mind. There is no way he doesn't come up in my mind, Claude. So funny enough, I even talked about him today. It's actually funny you bring it up. You brought it up. I spoke about him today with someone. Yeah, someone at work, I miss him. Forever in my heart, God. If he was here right now, he would have, ripped into me. He would have come in and ripped the hell out of me. Enjoy those days, man. And then we get angry at each other every time, Well, that was the love. And then what happens is he calls me later on, or I call him, and then we make up. Tade, you pissed me off. You really pissed me off on the stream. I was like, yeah. You pissed me off too, May his soul rest in peace, people. Tony Blackwell, currently Arsenal are a mid-table club. The board with the lack of ambition, the players you currently have, and the manager's ethos of how you play all leads to signs of mediocrity. I totally agree. But we need to get rid of the root problem. Imagine a tree, people. Imagine a tree. Yeah? If a tree is producing bad seeds, you need to go lower and lower and cut it off from the bottom. You don't just cut it from the top, you cut it from the bottom. We Arsenal fans want us to cut and prune these things from the top. No, don't prune it from the top, because the problems are still going to persist. From the bottom, trim it from the bottom. Blaming kroenke for everything that happened is silly, in my opinion. No one is blaming kroenke for everything that happened. It seems like you're still missing the point. And honestly, I don't know how to explain to you anymore. Maybe someone in the chats to explain to you what I'm saying. But you are still missing the point. You still think I'm blaming kroenke for everything. If you haven't gotten it after all the explanation I've given, I don't know, man. Maybe someone else should explain it to you in the chats right now, because I can't really explain much more. Okay, listen, people. Let me just talk about this last thing. So they asked him this question about Saka and Emil Smith Rowe, which you can see on the screen. And what he said is they need the right surrounding. They need to be surrounded by the right sort of players to grow without putting too much pressure on them. So what he's trying to say is they need the right surrounding around them, meaning they need the right mentality, they need the right players around them. Let's take a look at these two players this season. These two players have literally carried the team this season, and the so-called big boys haven't. Let me use an example for you guys. Imagine in your workplace, right? They bring in an apprentice to your team that is just learning how to do his work. And all of a sudden, the company starts relying on the apprentice to complete tasks, to complete jobs, to do what the experienced staff in the company are supposed to be doing. Don't you think there's a problem? So the question now is, who is that apprentice in your workplace going to be looking up to? He's the one that the manager gives the work. He's the one that they look up to whenever they're having problems in the workplace. He's the one that they rely on. And he doesn't even have enough experience, because definitely he's going to get found out when a bigger job comes to him. So who is he going to learn from when the big boys are not doing it? Do you understand what I'm saying? Who is it going to learn from within the squad? Every football team, right, requires a captain on the football pitch. Every football, you require a captain, and you also require a manager on the football pitch. What do I mean? Let's look at Chelsea. Chelsea had John Terry. John Terry was more or less like a manager on that football pitch. Then you had an assistant manager in Lampard. We had Tony Adams, who was more or less like a manager captain on the football pitch. A manager needs a voice on the football pitch to relay his messages to the players and lead the team to success. Vieira was a leader in Arsenal. But guess what? There's an exception to that, because I felt we were lucky in Arsenal to have so many leaders in the Invincibles team. For me, Vieira was not the only leader we had in that squad. We had a lot of leaders and a lot of captains. It's not just about the captaincy handband. So we had a lot of people that were literally doing what the manager wants on the football pitch. So when the likes of Fabregas came into the team, they had people to look up to. Fabregas had so many big players to look up to. But Emil Smith-Rowe and Saka, please, can you guys tell me who they're looking up to? They're looking up to the likes of Aubameyang, who, in my opinion, captaincy material, I'm struggling with. He's too quiet for a captain, in my opinion. And he said it himself, he's admitted it himself that he's not the type that talks. That's not what these guys need. These players, sometimes, they need tough love. They need someone in that dressing room that gives them tough love. They need a Roy Keane. Someone that, gives it to them rough, tells them exactly what they want to hear and what they don't want to hear. It's important for the balance. Tony Blackwell, if you don't have the players today, then the results don't come. If they don't come, then silverware titles are a distant memory. And with that, you are not going to attract players who will push. I totally agree with that. I totally agree with that, mate. I totally do. OG Slim, the apprentice is Arteta Tade. That's not the only apprentice in the squad. That's not what I'm saying. That's not the only. Definitely he's an apprentice. Definitely he's an apprentice. But that is not the only apprentice. I'm talking about apprentice. When these players go on the football pitch, right? When they cross that white line and get on the green turf to play football, you need someone. The manager cannot come on the football pitch to play, no matter how many things he says. Have you not seen the video of Henry when Henry was in his former club, was complaining, was cursing all the players on the sideline, saying all sort of things, talking, saying, "What are you doing? They still lost that game, people. They still lost that game. Upon all the shouting, all the tantrums he was throwing on the sidelines, they lost that game. Sometimes you can talk and talk and talk. It's not going to do nothing. It's not going to change anything. James Dunlop, Leicester will attract more players now that they are on the verge of Champions League football. They might, they might attract more, but if they don't have the funds to pay those players, they wouldn't go. I tell you what, right? Let's go back to when Man City started spending a lot of money. They started with the likes of Adebayo, if you guys remember. They started with Adebayo from Arsenal. They got Kolo Toure from Arsenal. Can you guys remember? That was a club that had intent. They also got David Silva. Let's not forget that. They also got Tevez. Let's not forget that. But the only way they could attract those players was with money. So even if Arsenal, right, are not in the Champions League, right, if they are willing to spend, because many players now are all after money, even the good ones, they're all after money. If the clubs are willing to spend the right money and show them the project, show them what they're trying to achieve, and the players see that this is a very, very, very good project, in terms of the prospect of it, they're definitely gonna come. They're gonna come and you're gonna get the team back into the Champions League. When Real Madrid were losing to Barcelona, the title to Barcelona, and all that, Real Madrid kept on spending to get the right players. They kept on spending to get the right players. Let's not forget that. Even if they were not, yes, they were getting into the Champions League, but they were not winning the league, they were not winning the Champions League, nothing. Barcelona was dominating. So, yes, maybe they will attract, maybe Leicester will attract players, but if they don't have the right money to pay them, I'm sorry, they're not going anywhere. Money speaks volumes, man. OG Slim, Arteta has had 17 months to bring in a voice today. Not good enough. Yeah, he's had 17 months. In reality, though, he's not really. when we're calculating these months, let's be very honest. Let's be very honest with ourselves. Stop calculating the COVID months, because we were out for how many months? I think we were out for 4 months. I think 4 months. Yeah. He was out for 4 months, and then he took the team when he was running into the ground as well in December. Tony Blackwell, Tade Aubameyang was only given captaincy by Arteta as a sweetener to keep him at the club. Let's be real with that. Yeah, I totally agree with that. Whether we like it or not, right? Whether we like it or not, Xhaka was chosen by his teammates under Emery to be the captain. Even if Xhaka doesn't have the required quality, which I think many of us kind of agree, there are some players that don't have the quality, but they have a captaincy characteristics. And I think Xhaka fits that bill, because you can see that every player voted for him, which means a lot. And even in the open mic that we saw on Arsenal channel recently, we could see that he was the one speaking to almost every single player in that open mic. Xhaka. He was talking to Partey, he was talking to Martinelli, he was talking to every single person. We know this guy is not that good, quality-wise. He's very limited with his quality. But you would wish that he can exchange his voice with Aubameyang. Imagine Aubameyang kind of had that ruthlessness that Xhaka has as a captain. Then maybe we will have a captain in our hands. You know, some people are given the captaincy characteristics, and some people, you know, aren't. It is what it is, people. It's just like Koscielny, for instance. Koscielny was a very, very quiet captain. Let's not forget that. He was a very, very quiet captain. I expected him to be talking a little bit more, you know. Randy Viper, we must party. Leno is leaving. Oh, we must party. Leno is leaving. You came into my DM today, Randy Viper. I was actually very busy today. I was very, very busy. You came into my DM all because Leno was leaving. You were so happy. I knew you were going to be the happiest person. But listen, it is not confirmed he's leaving yet, because the person we're going for, according to the rumors, we're going for Andre Onana. Andre Onana is still serving his suspension from doping. That stupid suspension that they gave to him. In my opinion, that was a bit too long, 12 months. The question is, will you have Onana in your squad instead of Leno? I know some of you will say yes. I know Onana is also a very good goalkeeper, but would you have him? Would you have Onana instead? I think that's the only person that have popped up as a rumor. I'm not really sure if that's true, but that's a rumor. Tony Blackwell, Arsenal have money, Tade, but Man City brought in players that were winners, not the bang average players that Arsenal brought in. Don't forget, Arsenal spent a lot of money last couple of seasons. Yes, I agree with you. Now, I'm going to ask you guys this thing, because I have to go very soon, people. Look at Mahrez. Mahrez went to Man City from Leicester, people. This was someone that was the best. Which year was that? Was it 2015 or 2014? He was the best player in the league. And this guy struggled when he met big players in Man City. He struggled to make the team. He was coming in from the bench many a times. He was coming in from the bench. This is someone that was so good in Leicester with Verdi, but he struggled. So let me ask you guys this question. Imagine you now have Pepe, who cost 72 million. And then you have Mahrez, who was proven in the Premier League. He was the best player in the Premier League. He won the league. And Mahrez cost lesser than him, by the way. Who are you going to pick? Of course, that's a stupid question, because I know what everyone is going to pick. Everyone is definitely going to pick Mahrez, right? But that tells you the story of Arsenal. Man City went out to get Bernardo Silva, people. Bernardo Silva from Monaco. Bernardo Silva was one of the best midfielders after they won the league in France ahead of PSG. They were so good that season. They got as far as was it the final? I think they got, was it the final or semi-final of Champions League? Bernardo Silva was immense. That was when they had the likes of Mbappe, they had the likes of Bakayoko, they had the likes of Mendy in the team. Bernardo Silva was the best player, was one of the best midfielders. And then he came to Man City. He was also one of the best midfielders. He was actually the best midfielder 3 seasons ago for Man City. He was the best midfielder. And he still got benched. You now have De Bruyne. De Bruyne has the highest number of assists record in German league. He comes to Man City. He comes to Man City. You have Fernandinho. Fernandinho that has done a lot of bits with the likes of not Vieira. What's this guy's name? Yaya Toure. You have the likes of Kompany. You have the likes of Silva. Then you have Aguero. Come on, man. Look at these players, man. Look at these players. And then you expect this Arsenal squad to compete with these people? Are we mad? Are we mad? Really, are we mad, people? What are we expecting? I said again, you cannot get a 5-star performance from 2-star players. It is physiologically impossible, people. OG Slim, the project is reading with errors and is nothing more than a PR spin. It's lazy business acumen. I love that word, lazy business acumen. That is fantastic choice of words. It's lazy business acumen. Yeah, I like that. That's actually, do you know what? Considering what we've been through in the last 14, 15, 16 years, yeah, you're totally right. It's real lazy business acumen. And this is the reason why when Swev Mislantat came to Arsenal, he left without even thinking about it. He left. Let's talk about Swev Mislantat. Swev Mislantat was the one that got the likes of Kagawa, the likes of Aubameyang back in the days, the like of Mario Götze to Dortmund. And then he got promised a role by this guy that is now in charge of AC Milan, Gazidis. And now, after Gazidis left, they wanted to make him a glorified scout. This is someone that has his own ways of doing his own scouting. He was supposed to be the chief negotiator as well. And they turned him to a glorified scout. This is someone that has his ways of getting players. He goes there, watches them. But instead, Arsenal wanted to be using agents, the relationship with agents, to get players. How stupid can they be, people? How stupid can they be? You have someone that is proven, but you want to do things your way because of a relationship with agents. It's been rotten, people. It's been rotten for a long time. This is not. It's been rotten. That's why I want people to open their eyes. It's not today. This thing started. It didn't start today. Randy Viper, Tade, look at Juve. They've been good for the post years. As soon as this stick an inexperienced Piro, they go bad. Arteta out, brother. You got a point there. You got a point. I give that to you. You got a point. Tony Blackwell, Mahrez took a while to adjust to City's way today. Now settled, it looks so much more fluid in the team. I agree. Ricardo, Tade, why are you being patronizing to me? I'm not being patronizing to you in any way. If you think I'm being patronizing to you, then I'm sorry about that. But I'm not being patronizing to you in any way. I only respond to what you write. And how you write is how I'm going to respond. Right? What I'm trying to say is there are so many things I've said. Right? And I feel that you are not getting me when I say them, Ricardo. I feel when I say certain things, you think this is what I mean, and that's what I can't take. I really don't like it when people misunderstand me, and I've tried to explain the best way I could, but you kept on saying something and insinuating that I said something a certain way, and I was only responding to the fact that that's not what I meant, and I tried to explain it in a different way. So if you feel I sound patronizing, I'm sorry about that. But yeah, I don't mean to be patronizing in any shape, way, or form. Randy Viper expecting better than 9th and expecting to beat Villarreal. Okay, I'm gonna say this now because honestly, guys, I need to go. I'm gonna say this now, people. And I'm gonna say this, and I am open to you guys disagreeing with me because I know a lot of you are gonna disagree with me what I'm about to say. In the last 7 seasons, apart from one season, right? In the last 7 seasons, apart from one season, do you realize that Villarreal continuously makes Europe? Okay. Arsenal, right? In the last 5 seasons, yeah, we've been in Europa League, people. Europa League, I repeat myself, Europa League, the last 5 seasons. What gives you guys the right? Is it because we don't watch La Liga? Villarreal this season has drawn with Real Madrid. What gives you guys the right to think that we're better than Villarreal because we are a bigger team on paper, financially? We are a bigger team. We have the assets. We have more fans around the world. We are well known here in England. What gives you guys the right to think we are better than Villarreal because we don't watch Spanish League? Villarreal makes Europe on a consistent basis, people. Consistent basis. Bar one season. In the last 7 years, I think it's just one season. Go check it out, people. Go check it out, and please tell me if I'm talking rubbish. Let's not think for 1 minute because we only watch Premier League or because we are Arsenal fans or because Arsenal is one of the most valuable teams in the world on paper financially. There is a difference between financial bigness, yes, if that English word exists in the dictionary, I don't care right now, but there is a difference between being big on paper on the financial books compared to being big and good on the field. The striker of Villarreal this season is the 3rd highest goal scorer. As a matter of fact, he has equal number of goals as Benzema, people. He has equal number of goals as Benzema. The only person ahead of him is Messi. This is a striker for Villarreal. So let's not think that we're better than Villarreal. What makes you think you're better than Villarreal? We are not. Last season we ended in what position? Season before then, what position did we end? If you compare where they finished on the table compared to where we finished, they've done better than us in the last 3-4 years, people, in La Liga. But because we sit here, we don't watch. I'm being serious now. Go look at it. But because we are Arsenal, we are popular. We are well known all over the world. This Arsenal team has been. Look, I'm not even gonna get into the details of it. But the truth about the matter is, we are expecting these players to perform above their level. Why? Because we're Arsenal. Don't get it twisted, people. We are a big team in the world on paper. We are number 8 or number 9 in terms of value, right? Most valuable clubs in the world. Yes, we are good on paper. On the field, it is different. It's almost like you have a house, right? A house that you bought in a multi-million-dollar estate, yeah? And then the kind of furniture you buy are the furniture you buy and put in the house are furnitures that you find in a poor man's apartment, or furnitures that you get from a pawn shop. That's what Arsenal is. Arsenal has bought, it's like a house in a multi-million-dollar estate. But the furniture in the house are not multi-million dollars. They are not. You know? Young Palace, big up to you, man. Big up to you. How are you doing? From FL. Is that Florida? If that's Florida, big up to you, man. Big up to you. Liam Vince, I would not recommend watching La Liga. It's crap in my opinion. Why do you say that? Why do you say that? Randy Viper, Ricardo knows more about Villarreal. All right, tell me about Villarreal then. Please tell me about Villarreal. I beg you. Oh, just think Villarreal are bang average. I mean, we can say whatever we want. You could say they're bang average. Arsenal are bang average as well. It's simple. That's the thing. In comparison, yes, they are bang average, but Arsenal is bang average as well. And Villarreal makes Europe every season. Every season they make Europe. That's my point. You know? Mostly, but Villarreal have never got to the final. It's only when they play Arsenal they get to the final. That's not the point. That's not my point. The point I made is Arsenal and Villarreal are almost on the same level. That's my point. We are almost on the same level. These guys keep making Europe every season. And Arsenal in the last 5 years, way before Arteta, way before Emery, we're only making the Europa. 5 seasons now. We are Europa. Now we don't even make the Europa anymore. So it's been a sinking ship. That's all I'm saying. It's been a sinking ship. Ricardo E, if I speak, I'm in trouble. No, you are not in trouble. You can say whatever you want, provided it is respectful, like I keep saying. James Dunlop, see you. Take care of yourself, man. Thanks for coming on as usual. Randy Viper, okay, I won't say more. No point debating. Goodbye. All right. I don't know why you wouldn't say more, but okay. I wonder why you wouldn't say more. OG Slim, Arteta is continuously underperforming tactically. It's so blatant to see. Yep, you can say that. Like I said, I've addressed it already, and I'm not going to address it again because now we're changing the whole discussion. I've said my piece about what I wanted to say, and I feel that we need to tackle the core problem in the club first. And in case you're just joining and you didn't hear what I said, please go back to what I said before, people. Sentiments. I watch a little of La Liga and Bundesliga. That's good. That's good. So please, can you tell us a bit more? Can you tell us a bit more about them? Liam Vince, I watched them the other day. It was bad, Tade. Who did you watch? Villarreal? Mossy boy, Tade, why are you always making excuses for this manager? Just agree the manager is not good enough. The only thing the manager is good at is breaking all records. And Mossy boy, in case you're just joining, I'll say you should go and watch what I said before, because honestly, I'm not going to respond to this because I'm pretty sure I made no excuses for this guy, and I've explained myself. And honestly, I'm not going to explain myself again because I already explained the situation. I already explained what I said. It seems like you came a bit late. So, yeah. I made no excuses for anyone. Mossy boy, Tade, we are not in the same level. We have better players than them. It's just that the manager cannot get the best out of them. That's your opinion. And, yeah. You guys can say whatever you want to say about having better players. That's totally fine. I have my own opinions as well, and I'm gonna stick to them. I know for a fact I'm gonna take Chukwueze ahead of Pepe. That's for sure. I know for a fact I'm gonna be taking Moreno, who is the highest goal scorer, ahead of Lacazette. That's a fact. Randy Viper, okay, peace out, boys. All right, take care, Randy Viper, and say hello to your people in New Zealand. All right, people, listen. I think I'll have to come to the end of the show today. But before I do that, as usual, I will be playing you guys a song, and I'm gonna be reading some of the chats if any of them pop up. And we'll have to call it a day. I said I was going to do an hour and a half or an hour, and it's already almost 2 hours, people. Yes. All right, people. This is Black Lies, people, from Daniel. Enjoy it. And I'll be right back, people.
We're always on break up just because I told you what I did last night. I recall the times you said you're sorry, but still I'm not sure if you told lies. But I don't care, it's all forgotten now. We're holy when we touch anyhow. Holy when we touch anyhow. Give me a chance to make it right. Just let me touch you like the first time. We don't need answers to survive. Just let us keep on with the black guys. With the black guys. Hanging up to see if you would call me. I miss you more when you seem too far away. And you can blame it all on me as long as we can find our way.
Mossy boy, I will have Chikwueze and Pepe at Arsenal if possible. Well, some of us will have just one of them. I'm not sure about Pepe right now.
There's nothing left to fight about. We're holy when we touch.
Sentiment FC, Villarreal is like Arsenal under Emery, open attacking and defensively too. We were too tactically safe, scared to take a shot in case we lost the ball. I don't know about the attacking side, but oh well.
Just let us keep on with the black guys. Give me a chance to make it right. Just let me touch you like the first time. We don't need answers to survive. Just let us keep on with the black guys. Somewhere in between our secrets, there's an imminent storm. It's unavoidable, yeah. But as long as I feel that you see me, I will pay no mind at all. So give me a chance.
Sentiment, Tade, I don't think Chikwueze or Chukso Wavy is as good as Pepe, and a lot of my Super Eagles friends agree. Seems like you guys haven't really watched Chikwueze, have you?
With the black guys. Give me a chance to make it right. Just let me touch you like the first time. We don't need answers to survive. Just let us keep on with the black guys. With the black guys. We are sweet on our secrets.
Yes, people, that is Black Lies from Daniel Kadawatha. Listen, people, it's been a nice time having you guys on as usual and talking to you guys. I've spent almost 2 hours here and I didn't even believe I was going to spend 2 hours. But I really appreciate every single person that's come on here, sent a chat. I really do appreciate you guys. I'll be speaking to you guys maybe tomorrow. Let's see how it goes tomorrow. I'm not sure if I'm going to do a post-match analysis, but if I do, please watch out for the posts and we might talk about the game. To be honest with you, Arsenal has sucked the life out of me. I'm not even really interested in doing post-match analysis anymore because they're of no meaning to me right now. But listen, it is what it is, people. I'll be talking to you guys later. Take care. Bye.